Hey guys, Will here. Today we're talking about sport climbing and all of the gear that you're going to need to get out there. For starters, you're going to need a pair of rock climbing shoes, chalk bag, harness, and a climbing rope. After your climbing rope, you're going to need a bunch of quick draws and some sort of belay device. For starters, for your climbing shoes, most companies offer an entry-level climbing shoe. A real basic description of how you want your climbing shoes to fit is that they want to be snug, but and a little tight, but not too tight. You want your foot to fit in something that you can stand up in and but that you don't want to walk around in is usually a good judging character. If you have any interest, I can make a whole video just on climbing shoes. There's a ton, and there's also a ton of information and a ton of different styles of climbing shoes. And yeah, if you are interested in that, let me know, and I can make a video just about climbing shoes. The next thing is your harness. Harnesses, obviously you want them kind of snug around your waist, and honestly the entry-level harnesses are just as good as all of the others. The harness that I would maybe recommend buying is looking into the Black Diamond Momentum. It's a great harness that will last you forever and will honestly compete with even the top high-end climbing harnesses. This harness is my sport harness, and this is a Black Diamond Solution. This is maybe like the step above the Black Diamond Momentum. It's a little lighter, and it's like the laminated, super lightweight one. Honestly, the Black Diamond Solution, this harness is really great as well. But if you're just starting out, check out the Black Diamond Momentum. And then as far as chalk bag goes, anything does the trick. As long as it holds chalk, it usually works. Your next thing that you're gonna wanna think about is a climbing rope. Now, your climbing rope is the most important piece of gear that you will purchase for climbing. This is the strongest piece of gear that you use for all of your climbing. And it also it lasts quite a long time. And when you're buying your first climbing rope, it's worth spending the money to buy the best climbing rope. There's a ton of other climbing ropes that are out there at different price points, and it's worth, if you're gonna buy one climbing rope, you might as well buy a good climbing rope. And there's a couple companies that I would recommend. This one happens to be Mammut, but also Sterling makes a great rope, and I usually stick to those two companies. I just think that their ropes have the best play, and they're usually nicer, and they usually last longer than some of the other companies. This one here is the Mammut 9.5 millimeter 70 meter rope. If you're buying a rope, there's a ton more information than that, but of things to think about. But I would recommend nothing shorter than a 70 meter rope, and maybe nothing smaller in diameter than that either. So you want a single rope, strand rope, between 9.5 millimeters and 10.5 millimeters, and I would say no shorter than 70 meters. 70, and I say that because most single pitch sport climbing is going to be around that like um, 20 meters to 30 meters. And so the 70 will most often get you to the ground, and you'll have enough rope for safety. So when you're looking to buy a rope, definitely look to buy the best rope that you can buy, or that you can afford. And then the next thing after your climbing rope is you're gonna start thinking about what kind of sport draws do you want to get. The sport draws that I would recommend are the Black Diamond sport draws. I don't even know what they're called. Yeah, I actually have no idea what they're called, but they're just like the kind of base model quick draw, which I don't know, when you think of climbing gear and you think base model, they're like, that doesn't sound too good. But honestly, the kind of entry level sport draw from Black Diamond is one of the best quick draws that you can buy, kind of on the market. And I say that in the sense that they're super durable. They have a good dog bone, and they're just a really good sturdy sport draw. What a sport draw is essentially is just two non-locking carabiners attached with a dog bone, and yeah, there's a bunch of different varieties, but the entry level sport draws will last you forever. They're super sturdy, super durable, and yeah, these are no problem, because honestly, whether you're climbing 5'7" or 5'14", these clip just the same. And to be honest, there are benefits to these entry model draws over some of these really lightweight, small carabiner, fancy schmancy draws. So these are actually great. These were my first sport climbing draws that I bought back in 2012, and there's still plenty of life in here, and I've used these for many sport climbing projects even now. So these base model or entry model climbing draws are great. They'll last you forever, and you'll never stop clipping them. They're really good. And I would recommend, if you're starting out and you're thinking about how many quick draws you need, I would recommend getting no less than 12 quick draws. I know that sounds kind of like a random number, but most sport routes are in that like I said, in that like 25 to like 30 meter route or height, and usually that's about 10 draws on the face, and then you'll have 2 draws on the anchor. So if you get 12, usually you can get up most sport climbing routes. Now, some sport climbing routes are longer than that. They'll use like 14 draws and then the anchor. But honestly, when you're just starting out and you're climbing those like 5.6s and 5.7s and 5.8s, is 12 quick draws will usually do the trick. So yeah, I would say 12. And what's cool about Black Diamond is they sell these sport draws in packs of 6. So if you just got 2 packs of sport draws, you'd be at your 12, and that's I think the perfect number for someone who's trying to go sport climbing. If you have 12 draws, you can get up a lot of routes. So yeah, Black Diamond quick draws are great. The next thing that you're gonna want to buy is an ATC. This is your belay device, and it's gonna hold your rope. And there's tons of videos online about how to use all this gear. I'm just kind of telling you what gear you should buy. When you're thinking about buying an ATC, I would recommend, or a belay device, I would recommend getting an ATC with a guide mode feature. Black Diamond sells their ATC guide mode, and all it is it has this extra little loop on the ATC for you to belay people up from the top. When you're just starting out, you're probably not going to be doing multi-pitch. You'll probably stick to like single pitch routes. But with that being said, if you enjoy single pitch sport climbing, you probably enjoy multi-pitch sport climbing or multi-pitch climbing in general. And if you buy the ATC without the guide mode, you're kind of limited to the types of routes that you can climb. You're usually limited to like single pitch routes. But if you buy the ones with the guide mode, you can get into those multi-pitch routes later on in your climbing history or your climbing career. And so I would recommend, if you're going to start out and buy an ATC, buy the one with the guide mode, because later on in your climbing career it will definitely pay off. Because if you don't, you'll kind of outgrow that ATC and you won't really use it anymore. So get the one with the guide mode. And as far as locking carabiners go, any locking carabiner usually works. Obviously Black Diamond, again, sells a ton of gear, and their carabiners are great. They got good play, they're good fit in the hand, good size, and they're just kind of classic. So that's great. This actually is not Black Diamond. This is a Petzl Reverso, which is just another brand. And yeah, so there you go. ATC with guide mode and a locking carabiner. And essentially that's all you need. You need 10 to 12 sport draws, ATC, hopefully guide mode, locking carabiner, your sport climbing shoes, chalk bag, harness, and a climbing rope. And there you go. You're off to the crag, and pretty soon you'll be the next Chris Sharma. Some of you might need to look up who Chris Sharma is, because I think not that many people know anymore. Yeah, if you're watching this video, I'm definitely trying to learn how to make videos. So if you have any comments, definitely leave them in the comments below, because I'm trying to get better at making these videos, and any feedback would greatly help and would be much welcome. All right, well, hopefully I'll see you guys at the crag.